You've been in the industry for a while, so the media side certainly changed as far as football coverage has come. What are some of those changes you noticed from when you first got into it?
Wow, it has been so different because going way back to when I was an intern with NFL Publishing, it was all PR. Like everything that the NFL put out in NFL.com was just starting, and we were doing all these publications, and it was all just happy news. Like, oh, look at this, the NFL is the greatest thing. And we would put out these kids clubs newsletters and the NFL report, which was, I mean, looking back at it now, it's just hilarious. Like
Mhm.
even nowadays, like there's no major corporation that behaves this way, but we've seen it. And I would go back to, and it's not recent, but going back to 2010, let's say right 2009, 2010, we were sitting there, a person that we're very familiar with, Justin Hathaway. We've both worked for Justin Hathaway, and he came in as one of the editors of NFL.com. And this was still at a time when we were just pumping out AP stories, press releases. Hey, what do we do if there's a negative story? And it's completely changed. And I remember, we used to do these things called blogs that nobody remembers, or even podcasts. And if you ever put any sort of personality into it, like the editors would be like, no, you got to pull that off. We
Wow.
can't be too glib or anything like that. And Justin was one of the guys who helped change that. And then of course we started the Around the NFL, which has grown into one of our biggest podcasts, or one of the biggest football podcasts in general, with Dan Hanzus. We got Mark Sessler and of course Greg Rosenthal. And so you look at it now and the coverage, and it's more personality driven. And I think that to me has been the biggest change, and the ability to go out there and realize like, hey, you know what? We're real people who cover the NFL. And I obviously am a Bears fan, and people know me as a member of the Chicago Bears, and people will claim that I'm biased. And I understand that when it comes to the Bears, like, yeah, I'm absolutely
Yeah.
biased, but I try to be as fair as possible. But it is cool that we can kind of go out there and you don't have to hide from it. Jessica Kleinschmidt grew up an Oakland A's fan. That is something to be embraced.
Yeah.
It's not something to shy away from. Roflo is a Houston guy. Like, that's awesome. Like, people, like, there is a connection to baseball. And for us to pretend like, oh, I didn't grow up a fan of this team, and all of a sudden, no. So that wall has been shattered, and that's been one of the biggest changes. And it's got its good parts and it's got its bad parts, but I feel for the most part it's good.